Richard Fuller is the Conservative MP for North Bedfordshire and is on the line now. Good morning to you, Richard.
Good morning, Andy.
This is a bit of a mess, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I mean, what a huge blunder in what had otherwise been a pretty well managed project. But as Robert was just saying, the caller was just saying, this was really bad. 6 hours people were waiting. And I've had people write to me who left the Bedford area and had a 6 hour delay from 11 a.m., leaving at 11 a.m., 6 hour delay, to leaving at 3 p.m. with a 6 hour delay. So this was over a very extended period. And as Robert said, if it had been the week earlier with all that hot weather, it would have been even worse. So yesterday I had a call with National Highways, and you may have spoken to them too, to find out what went wrong.
And what did they say to you?
Well, we went through a series of things. It seems to me that the fundamental point was that the traffic light phasing was wrong, and as a result, traffic kept backing up and backing up on the A421. So let's take that at face value. Then I asked a couple of questions. First question was, well, didn't anyone notice that there was a backing up of traffic? And if they did, what actions did they take? And that was largely the contractor who is working on that. And there is someone there whose responsibilities, one would think, by their title, should have had the responsibility, the nous, to say, gosh, I've got a huge problem here. What can I do? And in those situations, I think you and I would say, let's just walk down and just see how big the problem is, scale it, and then maybe just override the traffic signaling. If you can't change the phasing of the lights, just stop the traffic coming north. Apparently there was no problem on the traffic coming north up the A1. That was flowing fairly smoothly onto the diversion through Little Barford. But it was very much the A421. So why didn't someone have the nous to just stop the traffic coming up and allow the traffic through off the A421 to ease that 6 hour delay? Apparently nobody did that.
I mean, people that draw in the connection that soon Universal, I know, will be bringing a huge theme park to that area. Tens of thousands of visitors every day, and yet we're having problems like this in this area. And it doesn't seem like the highways can cope. I mean, are you worried about that?
Well, the A421 does look a little cursed, doesn't it, Andy? I mean, we went through the early water attraction last year, and now they seem to have not made the repairs, or at least not sufficient repairs, to the pumping station to stop a lane closure yesterday. And the issue with A421, another point that actually from your show now, from the conversation you had with Robert, I talked a bit to Highways England about the sat nav and the interaction and why it showed just a short 90-minute delay when it was 6 hours. And Rob picked on something. He said that there's no phone signal. And that's true. I don't know if you've been up that route of the A421, Andy, up to the roundabout, but there is a black spot where there's no phone signal. And I think that may have contributed to it. So perhaps Highways England could look at improving the phone signal so people can be warned earlier, and perhaps look at ways signage can be put in place a little earlier on the A421. Now, we don't want to divert lots of traffic unnecessarily through Moggahanger and through Wybos and other areas. But it does seem that when you get this very long delay, they need to look at improvements.
They need to react. I don't know what. I don't know why they couldn't have opened up the centre barrier and got people to do U-turns and go back. You know what I mean? The reaction is just important.
It was like a rabbit staring in the headlights. Andy.
Yeah.
You're on the ground. You see the problem. And the same thing goes actually. And I haven't had the chance yet to speak to the chief constable. I want to speak to him. But as you mentioned earlier, there were police around. So, police would have authority. Maybe the contractor didn't feel they had authority on the day to stop the traffic, but the police have that authority.
Yeah.
So what was the police's understanding of the situation, and what measures could have been taken then? Was there something that was missed?
Because as Robert mentioned, and as you have as well, thank goodness it wasn't the weekend before when the weather was super hot. Kids and old people in cars in that heat. We could have been a whole different story here, couldn't it? Really.
It really could. So I've asked National Highways to look at their procedures so they can improve their procedures. Look, they have taken it really to heart. I mean, I know everyone's very angry about it, and rightly so, but they should know the National Highways, it was a blunder, huge blunder by them. They've taken it very, very much to heart. They will take all the actions necessary to make sure when they have another closure, they've made all the precautions necessary. In other closures I think they've had 15 or 16 smaller closures, Andy. They've all gone reasonably reasonably well. But we can't have this.
We
Again,
can't
there's
keep
too much.
they can't keep apologising. You know, I mean, that's twice in 24 hours. And I know you say they've taken it to heart, and and forgive me while I get my small violin out. But we've asked them. We've asked them to be on the show. They've declined. They've sent us a statement. I know they've spoken to you, which is lovely. They've issued an apology online, but let's call it as it is. That's not good enough, is it?
Look, it isn't, and you know me. We've talked about East West. I'm ferocious when I think that a public agency is not working for the best interests of taxpayers or local residents. This is an instance where National Highways have fallen short. I think I would say overall to the head of National Highways, you really need to look at the A421 now. We have a major attraction coming in when and if the planning permission is given for that. They will expect, people coming to Bedfordshire to go to the attraction will expect that they do not get into major traffic jams trying to reach their destination, whether it's at Universal Studios, Bedford, or all the way to Cambridge. So National Highways, I'd say, should use the experience of both last year with the major flood and this year with the incident to make sure that the A421 is a fast-flowing, free-flowing, always reliable part of their network. At the moment, it's falling far short.
Richard, I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for being on the show, I'll tell you what, I look forward to hearing what the Chief Constable says to you as well, because that's a fair point you made. The police were there. What did they do? Did they not see the cars backed up? Yeah, they should have. Maybe they could have done a little bit more to help out. But thank you once again, Richard. Really appreciate your time on the show this morning. That was Richard Fuller there, who's the Conservative MP for North Bedfordshire. Now.